Blog Talk Radio.
Lightwaves Radio is for all seekers of truth and anyone who seeks to understand the many mysteries of our place in the cosmos and life itself. We explore a variety of topics that we feel are most urgent and valuable at this time, and strive to find real truth and solid answers through contemplating, sharing, and exploring experiences and understanding of the bigger picture. We live an incredibly exciting, new, and even awkward time in the history of our planet. History has been written and rewritten in so many ways, and truth hidden for so many reasons. It is a very real challenge to discern what is real and what is programmed in our society and lives. Together and through our mutual explorations and discussions, we have the ability to elevate our understanding and raise the frequency of our planet to a level that literally assists the evolution of humankind. There is so much we can do to make a difference for ourselves, our lives, and our future within the greater universal reality. Please join us in this journey of discovery. Evolve your truth. We are all here for a purpose. Let us discover what is within us and what we have yet to discover from without us. Welcome to a special presentation of Inner Circle. My name is Wendy Adams, and I want to first thank Guy and Sasha of Citizen Sane Radio for inviting me on here tonight. Inner Circle is actually approaching our 1-year mark in 2 weeks, and we're going to have a wonderful show planned for that. I have invited back Al Farrar and Sean Clark to be my special guests for that show. Be sure to check out my website for more information soon, and that is at www.lightwavesradio.com. And tonight, I'm happy to let you know that we have a wonderful guest that's going to be joining us shortly, and his name is Paul Wesley, and he's also known as Prince Truth Chaser. And a little bit later on, we're also going to have Jeremiah Blakely joining us. And in addition to that, a little bit later on in the show tonight, I'm actually going to be taking some calls from you guys if you'd like to call in. Feel free to do that. And I'll let you know when. The number is on the screen here on Blog Talk Radio. And it will be, again, wait for me to tell you when, but it will be 347-826-9843. And if you could bear with us, I'm just waiting for the guest to actually be connected to me, so I appreciate all of your patience. And Jeremiah is waiting to be connected with me as well. Okay, a little bit more technical difficulties. Again, thank you for bearing with us here.
Wendy, can you hear me?
I can. Hi.
All right, cool. How you doing?
Wonderful. How are you doing, Paul?
Great, great. It's great to be back.
Wonderful. I'm glad that you're here. I think we had a little bit of a technical difficulty where I think it was just me for a bit, so I'm happy you're here. Welcome back to Inner Circle.
It's
how are you doing?
Good to be back. Amazingly well. Staying
Great.
Staying full of resistance and love vibration, I guess.
I'm definitely happy to hear that. So, Paul, for those who don't know you very well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, a little bit about myself would basically be just a guy from Philadelphia, and I'm a truth seeker, a revolutionarist, I guess, and also a person with the understanding that love is key and resistance is necessary, but love is definitely key. I started off with chemtrail agenda and waking up and basically looking in the sky and seeing what was going on. And then, took it from there and decided to empower myself for knowledge. And when I did that and I kind of saw truth, I kind of wanted to let others know, hey, what's going on. And then when I did that, I noticed that a lot of people weren't pushing a love vibration with what was going on. So I kind of made it my own personal agenda to expose what's going on in the world, spread love and light, and, share my experiences with the rest of the world.
Great. I love that you're coming from it from a love and a harmonious point of view. That's really wonderful. So, Paul, what kind of
Yeah.
things have you been working on recently?
Oh, so much. Since the last time I was on the show with you and Guy, I've done, oh my God, just amazing interviews. If you would have told me that I would be doing what I'm doing now, it's just I'm honored to even be doing what I'm doing now. I wouldn't have thought that I would have taken it this far, I guess. But you know, I've the interviews that I've done and the experiences that I've had with, you know, exposing chemtrails, exposing the media, talking a little bit about like the reptilian agenda, which we talked about on the last time we talked, and I've learned a lot. Just basically interacting with people. I think the main thing with me was understanding that love was key, because when I first started getting into the truth game, I really didn't grasp the fact that, you know, how important it is that people realize that this is all a game, what's going on right now, the depopulating the planet and stuff like that. It's just an experience that we have for the soul. And I think that the whole love thing took me a little while to catch on to, but I'm just I've been doing videos and interviews and putting one foot in front of the other, and it's been amazing.
It definitely is very amazing. And you know, that recently you were either on a TV show or you perhaps went to a TV station, were asked to leave, and you were protesting outside. What happened with that?
Yeah, well, I was on We Are Change TV, basically talking about, you know, a lot of truth stuff as far as what the government doesn't want people to know about taking away American citizens' rights, homeland security, ordering billions of rounds of ammunition against the U.S. citizens. And I think from being on that show, I think I opened up a lot of eyes to the fact that, you know, yes, this is happening, but 100% non-compliance is what can really shut it down. And I think your viewers really need to realize that, you know, if we all just quit our jobs today and we just stopped working today and we just said, okay, for a month straight, we're just not going to go to work, we're not going to shop, we're not going to spend money, we're not going to do anything, that would totally collapse this, say, evil empire that's trying to hold us down. And in my personal opinion, I think that what's going on within the world with chemtrails and with Monsanto and with abductions and stuff like that is that these negative beings that are doing this want to keep this planet in a low vibrational state. They want to keep everyone full of fear. They want to keep wars going because that, you know, as you know, Wendy, you know, energy is energy. If we walk into a party and I see you or you see me and God forbid one of us is negative, it kind of, you know, affects the whole circle.
It definitely does. You're absolutely right.
Right. So I think that's what the agenda is, and I think that like a lot of people don't understand this is that like a lot of people like when I protest and when I believe in self-empowerment to the point where it's a must that people really grasp this concept of self-empowerment because you know when you see that something's wrong, it's and no one's doing anything about it. Like when I went up to Fox News and CBS 3, I just knew that the mainstream media isn't covering drone strikes. They're not covering the thousands and thousands of missing men, women, and children that are being abducted and taken on underground bases. They're not covering this. So whose responsibility is it? Because no one is confronting them. And I just decided to do it myself. I just it's just I kind of live by the motto that one person can make a difference. And I think there's a lot of groups out there in the truth game and in the truth movement. And a lot of people are scared because as an individual, you know, it's like, well, I'm either shy and I don't want to join a group or I'm scared and I don't want to get off my couch to make a difference. So I kind of live by that life motto. It's that if we empower ourselves and realize that this reality that we live in is just, in my opinion, it's a dream. we're living in a dream state. Not that this isn't real, but because the planet is real, Wendy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But right. So you have experiences with the paranormal yourself. You can see things that other people can't see. So obviously,
fortunately, that is true.
So but that so when we cross over, right, Wendy? I mean, it's when we cross over to the astral plane, it's just like another dimension. You know what I mean?
It is, absolutely.
Right. So all these people that are being force-fed fear through the governments and through the system, if they realize, just for 1 second, that no matter what happens, there's no such thing as death. Because as you know and as I know, you don't die. You just you leave your body and it's just like boom, you wake up again. But no details of whether if you're passed away or not at that time, I'm not sure of. But I'm pretty sure it's just like waking up from a dream. But if the masses, that are being chemtrailed and Monsanto'd and GMO'd and everything knew this, how brave would they be to stand up and empower themselves? Because there's no such thing as death. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It does. We just continue on. You're absolutely right.
And it's amazing. It's amazing because I think that's where the fear aspect of it all comes into play through religion. If you don't do this, you're going to go to hell, which I don't want to get too much on religion, but and it's basically a fear game, like what just happened with the marathon. The mainstream media, all they show is blood, guts, and gore. They want to show the blood, they want to show the guts, they want to show the gore. You know what I mean? But the ground workers that were on the ground, the real journalists, when they had interviewed people, I think there was like 4 that died, I think, and like almost 100 that were injured, or somewhere in them numbers. But the media wants to they want mass panic. You know, Wendy?
Definitely.
But,
I'm sorry, Paul. It seems like a little bit of a delay, so I apologize if I keep talking over you. I'm sorry.
No, I don't mind. I'm trying to get your input on things too. I don't want to do all the talking. I don't want to yap through the whole thing. So what is your take, Wendy? I have to know myself because I've seen a video that you did, and it just blew me away because I didn't know you had a remote viewing skills and you were, you could see what you see, and this blew my mind. So being back on the show now, knowing what I know now, it's amazing because I used to be able to see spirits when I was a kid. I can't do it now, but you still can. So my question to you is, with everything that's going on in the world right now, with all the
you're kind of sounding a bit Russian, but I feel intuitively that you're kind of trying to ask me about my abilities. What you're trying to ask me, Paul?
Yeah, basically the question was, what is your view on the fact of that there is no death? What do you think as far as what the government's role in everything? If people knew what you knew, do you think there would be a different view on, or there would be different actions being taken, or?
But you're asking me what I think is going on in the world? And if the government would do if they knew what I knew. Is that right?
Yes. Am I breaking up? It sounds like I'm breaking up. All right, I'm going to try to step outside for a bit. Maybe I can get more of a reception. Can you still hear me, Wendy?
I can't. You sound a bit Russian, so I'm so sorry. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, I'm outside now, so can you hear me a little better now? Or?
Paul, guys asked me to ask you if you could call right back in because it sounded like Russian on his. Well, I'm so sorry. Would okay? Because I do want to talk with you more.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Paul, and everyone out there. Thank you very much for your patience. We're going to have him call back. We're going to try to reconnect him. I do apologize. It really was sounding a bit Russian to me, and I was trying to really pick up on what he was saying, and I'm not sure if you guys can hear him and me clear, or if you're hearing it how I'm But anyways, thank you again for your patience. And a little bit, we are going to work on getting Jeremiah back on here too. So definitely, Paul Prince Truth Chaser is a wonderful person. He's out there trying to make it. Hello. And I think we're back on the air.
Yes, we are.
Wonderful. Well, hey, Guy. I got someone to talk to for a moment. Woohoo.
Hey, Paul, go ahead and call back in. Or how about I just, let me call up Jeremiah real quick here.
All right, let's get Jeremiah on here. In just a moment, we're going to be connecting Jeremiah Blakely in the call with us for the show. Again, Blog Talk Radio has been having some serious issues tonight. One of the reasons I don't use that, we're going to call Jeremiah.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi, Jeremiah. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Wonderful. Lots of technical stuff, but we're working through it. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Well, wonderful.
Another beautiful day in paradise.
So what is the weather like there, Jeremiah? Why don't you tell everybody where you're at?
I am in southeastern New Mexico, and it is really windy. It's probably about 80 miles an hour outside right now, so pretty rough. Yeah. But it's part of the world.
Absolutely. So we're just kind of winging it here and talking. We're waiting for Paul, Prince Truth Chaser, to call back in. I spoke to him for a few moments. I know that we lost you in the beginning, and I'm so sorry about that. We were trying to work on getting you back, and then Blog Talk had a little bit of issues. So Prince Truth Chaser will be on here with us hopefully shortly. Oh, he's back right now. Paul, are you there?
I am here.
Well, welcome back.
All right, awesome. So to get back to where I left off at, I kind of feel that what I wanted to ask you was, how do you feel as far as, like, there is no such thing as death? Do you think that that would cause, like, mass awakening in itself, that people actually knew that, or no?
I think so. I honestly do.
I do. That's Jeremiah, Paul. He's on here, too. I do agree with you that it would cause a lot of chaos out there. And you're right, because of my abilities and stuff, I have communicated with those who have passed over. And, you know, and they've explained to me that, you know, you do just continue on. It is kind of similar to how you were thinking of earlier, like it's almost like waking up and they're still here. They're just on a plane that's a little bit higher than we are, and they're, you know, you're just a different form, but you're still, your soul and everything still stays with you.
That's awesome. I mean, and see, that's key. Not only is love vibration key, but knowing that there is no such thing as death. That right there I think that's what motivates me, basically, too, is because what do we have to lose? And that's the thing, you know? With all these secrets that the government hides via alien, you know, people being abducted by aliens, the treaties that the government has signed because of this, and me myself being an abductee, you know, I just think that, you know, if we basically empower ourselves, that the options are endless.
And Paul, do you find that because you were an abductee, Paul, do you find that you kind of have a camaraderie with others that have been abducted? You guys kind of, I don't know, kind of stand together and feel, you know, a connection because of that?
I kind of feel like a healer in a way because of my abduction experience. Because I kind of broke free from what happened to me. And a lot of people can't. A lot of people that have been abducted are still continuously being abducted. And I think that what's key in the whole abduction scenarios are that it's just a matter of what you want to will into existence. Do you want to be a victim, or do you want to say no? And, you know, I decided to say no, and I think that a lot of people don't feel that they have the power to do so. But, yeah, I mean, I kind of look at myself as someone who can reach down and help people that have been abducted, basically.
That's awesome.
Wonderful. And Jerry, did you have a question? Sorry.
Well, I agree whenever it comes to, you know, not dying, because think about the impact that it would have on the religious structures. I mean, if everyone out there found out tomorrow that there was no death, there was just a continuance, I mean, what would that ensue in people that lived their life because they were told from an early childhood, you better behave or you're going to go to hell, or if you don't do this, you know, you could reap the consequences when you die. I mean,
exactly.
that could have some outcome on this world, a lot of it at once.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
And, you know, I kind of feel that major governments know this, that they have the key to eternity, so to say. And I think that's why one of the reasons why they chemtrail us, and one of the reasons why they put, you know, because it all, you know, when you look at what's really the bulk of what's going on, why stuff is being put in our food, why we're being sprayed, you know, why we're getting these vaccinations, why is this going on? And I think that world government knows that there is no such thing as death, therefore humanity is expendable. There's 7 billion people. There's 7 billion people on planet Earth, and there's a lot of people, a lot of mouths to feed. And this is one of the reasons in my eyes, in my mind, that I believe that they're doing it. Because they know that, you know, okay, it may seem to me and you like, oh my God, this is genocide, we're being killed off. But again, that goes back to if we only knew the truth that there is no such thing as death, that you just maybe have a choice to come back. And I think that they know that. Now, whether or not, you know, when you get into the whole UFO alien aspect of this, did they sell us out to the grays? That is, you know, so they can get a herd of cattle and manipulate it DNA-wise, a couple million or 1,000 people. You know, that's another thing. But I think that world government knows this, and I feel that, you know, so if this being the case, what do we collectively as individuals do, knowing that what we know? And I think that one of the things that we need to do is realize that the little time that we have in this, I guess, life that we want to call it that we have, what are we going to do with it? Are we just going to see what's going on around us and say, okay, well, it's no big deal because we don't die? Or are we going to say, even though there is no such thing as death, what you're doing is evil. The energy you're bringing is evil. So the little bit of time that I have left, you know what I mean, I want to expose you. I want to bring out my not only resistance, but with a love vibration to expose you, so that way when my time is up, I go to a higher plane.
Absolutely. You know, I totally agree with you, and there are a couple of keys that we need to consider. You know, one of the keys is going to be knowledge, and you're out there getting the word out to people, and you're doing that. Another key is going to be prepare for these things that are going to be occurring. And the last thing is unification or togetherness. We all need to come together and, you know, work together to help each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the whole getting out there thing, I think, is majorly important. It's probably one of the most important things that anyone can do, because I think that people are so mind controlled right now via TV and video games, and just through school and through, you know, you can walk in a supermarket and if you just see people, they just look like zombies. It's like, oh my God, I have to do this, 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 and it's just one big state of mind control. And once people realize that, hey, look, it's time to get out there and to contribute, then you can't argue with someone. I've learned with trying to wake people up. You can't argue with someone who's asleep because you're not going to win. And I found that out, unfortunately, early on. But
right.
Wendy, I kind of feel that you can try and wake up as many people as you possibly can, but there's just some people that we cannot reach. And
it's really hard. It's really hard to fill a cup that's already full too. People already have their own perceptions about everything, and that's the way they believe. It's really hard to teach them something new if they're not accepting to it.
Awesome
yeah, that's
point.
really true.
Mm-hmm. It's an awesome point. And, I feel that is even if they see, if you meet someone on the street and you say, look up in the sky, there's UFOs, or look up in the sky, there's chemtrails, it's a matter of what will they want to will into existence in their life. You can, once you show someone what's going on, it's a matter of, okay, well, I know what's going on now, but am I willing to sacrifice the comfy lifestyle that I have to go out and to make a difference? And that's what I think I try to do. Or at least I try to. I mean, get out there and get it in. And I think the one thing that separates me from a lot of truthers, because I don't see a lot of guys. Like, I don't see people, stressing the importance of love vibration in their videos or in their rallies. It's always like, oh, we hate the government or we hate the media or, this or this or this. But you never, and if you watch major players on YouTube that expose, Monsanto or the gun grab issue, you never hear like, okay, guys, this is what's going on. But through noncompliance and through love vibration, we can change this. You know what I mean? You don't hear that. It's mind blowing to me. It's just,
vibration has a lot to do with everything. I mean, it goes through our mind. I mean, our minds have distinct vibrations, and we send out these signals. No matter what is happening, there's a vibration to it, and it goes, through everything, throughout our molecules, and makes up life pretty much. And the positive vibration is absolutely the strongest, no doubt about it. They've done studies on water molecules to where they put love and positive energy into it, and the molecules of the water formed a solid crystal. So
that's amazing.
It's definitely true.
It is. There's energy attached to everything.
Mm-hmm. You agree with that, Wendy?
I do, absolutely. There's energy attached to everything. And one of my favorite quotes, I know I said forever and every time, but if you knew the power of a negative thought, you would never, ever have one again. And we do.
Right.
We need to think positive. I mean, not only do we have to endure karma of the negative thoughts that we're having, because all karma is bad, but in addition to that, we need to stay positive, stay focused, and do what we can to help others and make a difference. So definitely, I'm totally in agreement with you guys on that.
A lot of people out there, I think they see, when we look at the bulk of things, like I said a little earlier, that it just seems so overwhelming. Like, what can we possibly do? And I think kind of people, their minds go in, I want to quit mode. I call it. It's I want to quit mode, and that's basically where. What can you do? And if you fight, you could wind up in Guantanamo Bay, or you could people are going to call you crazy, or the government's going to say this or say that, and then people go into a shell of what I call quit mode, and it's they feel that they really can't make a difference, and I think that's where the elite have the upper hand as far as knowledge is concerned, because we have the key, and love is the key. And I think that's why they want to push, like, what just happened in Boston, or, because that's mind-boggling to me. That is insane, dude. Isn't it insane, dude? It's like,
yeah,
with all the spy cameras we have on the street corners, right? With a major, and I think they did bomb practices before it even happened. It's insane, but I honestly think that that the elite, the Illuminati, the elite, whoever these offshore bankers, Rothschilds, whoever these evil individuals are, I think they're desperate now. I think they're in desperate mode. You know what I'm saying? Like this is their way to. It's like their last desperation moves. They're going to be this and to try to provoke a war, stuff like that. Because, you know, people are waking up. And to all the listeners that are listening to this, you know, don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to empower yourself. Even if it means standing alone, it's better to stand alone, because one person's vibration of love and of change could, you know, if you reach out to 1,000 people and only wake up 2 people, you've done your job.
Yeah. Because they can turn and they can wake up 2 more people and then start a domino effect.
And again, what do we have to lose?
Right.
You know? 4 years ago, I was hanging out with buddies, drinking at the bar, doing absolutely nothing. Well, working 9 to 5 would be dope. But now, you know, I'm making a difference. At least I hope so. You know, trying to make a difference. And I can honestly say that if God forbid, if I get hit by a car and pass away, that I've done enough, that I've, you know, woke up a lot of people. You know, and I think that once you open up, you know, guys, once we open up our eyes to what's really going on, and you know, it's kind of like you cannot go back to sleep. You can't stop thinking about it. And the thing that gets me, and the thing that really bothers me, is that there's people out here in the world that have no clue on what's going on. Not even clue about love vibration. What the power of thought manifestation can do. Right? Now, I'm not mad. I hold these people that are asleep. You know, I'm not mad at them at all. The people that really get under my skin is the people that know what's going on, know about, you know, your thoughts and the power that your thoughts have, and know what's going on, and they do nothing. That really irks me. You know what I mean? The people that know, and they'll get on the internet and they'll argue issues, but yet they won't get out and do anything. I find that worse off than the people that are actually asleep.
I hear you. So, Paul, can you tell us what is like a typical day like for you?
A typical day in the life of Prince Truth Chaser.
Yeah, tell us all about it.
Well, a typical day in the life for me, and this is on the real talk now. I wake up, and the first thing in my mind is, what can I do positively? Sometimes I have problems talking like a stutter. So, you know, when I wake up, I say, what can I do positively to make change? You know, because like today I went out and I gave out flyers, and like I go on about the different hybrids and the hybrid agenda and this and this. So I made sure that before, I knew I was going to be on the show today, so I went out and I gave out flyers and I talked to people in different like restaurants coffee shops that I think like these hybrids maintain and work in. I would just walk in the door, hey, here's flyers. Check out my YouTube. Check out my Facebook. Because, you know, I mean, but a day for me is basically trying to be as positive as I can. You know, it's not a 9 to 5 truth and thing. I mean, I take care of my kid and spend time with my kid. You know, spend time with the family, spend time with friends. And the thing is I'm just like you guys. I go to a bar, I hang out. I love football. Sometimes I pick up a paddle and play video games. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm just a normal person, just like everyone else. It's just 4 or 5 days out of the week, I'm on my job, dedicated to humanity, without a doubt. Looking at things the way they are, looking at others and how they do their truth movements, and saying, okay, what can I do that they're not doing that can help, you know, everything as a one to change the world. And as corny as that sounds, I would say every day when I wake up, I want to change the world. I mean, I'll get mad at myself if I spend too much money because, okay, well, maybe I should have bought a little more flyers, or maybe, you know, I want to schedule this event or do more T-shirts, or, you know, like I'm rough on myself. Like if I, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a normal day for me, waking up and wanting to change the world. But also,
so Paul,
at the same time, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to ask you, what information's on your flyers? Tell us what you're passing out about the hybrids. What's the new dirt on this?
This is what the cool thing is about the flyers and the hybrids, because it has like a little gray Zeta on it, and it has like a little gray Zeta alien, and it says, youtube.com/PrintTruthChaser. Do you believe in chemtrails, aliens, or hybrids? And I think a lot of people that are asleep, when they see the little alien, because you want to have like eye candy for people that are asleep, something that's going to be like, oh, like, wow, what's that, you know? And right. So I kind of put the little Zeta on there, and I kind of get my jollies when I go to like what I call a hybrid shop or a hybrid store, because the reality, well, when I give them the flyers, they kind of give me that look like, how do you know? Like, wow, this guy knows that. You know what I mean? Because it's all telepathy. Like, and I want your viewers to really understand it's a mental communication with the hybrids. If that makes any sense to you guys.
Oh, it does to me, definitely.
Yeah. Right. So they just have that look. Mhm. And I love it. Like, I love to hand them a flyer, because then they look at me like, you know, it's like when you see someone who knows who you are, but they're not coming at you in an aggressive way. They kind of give me like that little smirk, like, thanks, you know. But as far as the hybrids are concerned, I mean, they're everywhere, and you know, people have been abducted like myself. You know, need to know that we are not the only race of beings that are walking on this planet. Some are negative, some are positive, and that's just universal law. You have light and you have darkness. You know, some hybrids want to help the planet ascend to a higher vibration, and some of them don't. That's just the cold, hard facts. I've seen it with my own eyes. I can literally tell who's a hybrid, who isn't a hybrid. And I know that sounds crazy. Maybe that's from me being abducted, but yeah.
What stance do you take on those that have been abducted but have been altered?
I'm sorry, I didn't totally hear your question. I heard something was altered. Do you mean DNA?
Okay. Whenever a person is abducted and they're altered in a way,
right.
What stance do you take on that, whether it be positive or negative?
You know, I don't think that human beings, like regular human beings, as far as being altered, I would honestly say that maybe they can do a little twitch, like a little, what's it called with the word I'm looking for, twigging in the neurological part of the humans. But as far as like altering us, I don't think that their main agenda is to alter us. I think their base agenda is the hybrids, because the Zetas are a dying race, and they've been doing this for a long time, and it's now starting to really come into full effect. And I think that not so much tweaking us, like I don't think I was tweaked a lot. Like, I think the one thing that I learned from being abducted was the whole controlling my fear aspect of it. Because when I actually seen these beings, it scared the hell out of me. And I was made to touch one of their skins. And as soon as I did it, they looked at me, and I looked at them, and they're like, all my fear washed away. And it was just like, now you see, like, there's no, you know, it's just fear is something that I guess humans have, but
yeah.
And then,
I wish it was that easy. So I wish it was that easy.
It's rough. It's Listen, it's terrifying. If I seen a Zeta come in my door, I mean, first of all, I broke free from that. I don't like these things personally, because free will is being taken, and free will continues to be taken from people. When you take someone out of their house and against their free will, that's not right. And people, you know, guys, they say, well, you know, you unconsciously sign a contract, or you sign a contract before you're born. That's BS. Because I'm also in direct contact with they're called the Lyrians from Lyra. They're a feline race. And now these are the beings that have direct war with the reptilians, the Dracos, the badass of the universe, if you want to call them that. And I was, through them, I learned self-empowerment. I've learned love vibration a lot more than I know now. And I don't despise every Grey Zeta. I kind of have some sympathy for them, but I just don't want any part of them because they took my free will. And I think that's against any galactic laws that you can think of. What do you guys think?
I think free will is everything to any individual. I mean, if you don't have the power to choose, you're pretty much a slave. So.
Oh, exactly. And see, that comes to the question of the hybrids that are walking among us. Okay, I mean, I've seen people and their eyes will go completely black. I woke up to a woman that I was in a hotel with. Her eyes went completely black, and telepathically she says to me, she says, "Well, I know everything about you," which was weird. But I wasn't afraid because you know what I'm saying, Wendy. It was freaky, but I wasn't totally freaked out. Like I see these people in supermarkets. Like they'll just turn their head and their eyes will go. They're called black-eyed people, or some use the phrase black-eyed children.
Yeah, black-eyed kids.
Yes. They're Zeta hybrids. Exactly what they are. And some people think that they're all dark entities. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't say this for sure because I've seen some that were positive. Nothing but smiles. Nothing but like a love vibration feeling. And so any of you viewers out there that are listening to this are going to hear this, and you're going to say, well, he's anti-gray. I know completely about the Arcturians, the one craze that is that they're real tall and they're supposed to be a love and light. I'm not anti-gray. I'm just anti-free will. Against you, taking against your free will.
Okay.
And
I'm glad you clarified.
You know what I'm saying, guys? So I'm not anti-alien, but I'm not anti-hybrid. I mean, I'm not. Obviously, these beings they will show themselves to us. The ones that understand, see, it's all vibration. The ones that know that we know, when you walk past them or you see them in a house party or a store or something like that, they'll show themselves to you. It's kind of like a way of a greeting, if you want to say.
Yeah, a welcome or an acknowledgement.
Exactly. Like say Wendy is a hybrid or a reptilian. Okay, because not all reptilians are negative.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Even though a lot of people say they are, Wendy could have slit eyes and the whole shape-shifting thing, but if Wendy was walking down the street and she seen someone like me or you, that are awake, and that kind of connect with on her vibrational level and knew who she was, why not show yourself, right, Wendy?
Absolutely.
Why not say hi, flash an eye or two?
I'll flash you, yeah.
Yeah. Shape-shift the eye or two.
There you go. No, I understand what you're saying, though, absolutely. And I think the reason that you weren't afraid is because, you're open-minded and they felt really comfortable with you. You had that rapport and that connection, and you're open-minded. That makes all the difference.
It really does, because these beings that are hybrids didn't ask to be hybrids, first off.
Exactly.
And if you ever look at abductees, they're shown their children. They're shown these hybrid children, and the children want to be with them. And it's kind of has to be traumatic in a way because it's like, okay, you're a hybrid, you're taken from a ship or underground or wherever, you're thrown in society, taught how to live, and taught how to interact with human beings. So if you can find a human being that knows who you are but has love vibration, that connection that you had from that other human half of you, you're going to want to connect with this person because you were ripped from that connection when you were, I'm going to say the wrong word, genetically, when you were messed with DNA-wise and you became a hybrid. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
If that makes sense to you, or
yeah, it does.
It's just like throwing a kid that only knows Spanish into an English school and then making him learn. It's it can feel uncomfortable, and it would be pretty much the same thing.
Mhm. And when I first got the knowledge that I have, and this is really key for anyone who's listening to this, really key. You're going to get angry at first when you don't know what's going on because you're like, oh, my God, you know, the Zetas and the reptilians, they're all evil, underground bases, people being harvested for food. I mean, you hear all the time. And then you're going to have love in your heart. Well, that's what happened to me. I had love, and I was kind of battling back and forth. Love, hate, love, hate, love, hate. And I'm just at the point now where it's just unconditional understanding and love is all that matters, even if the being is negative. Just stay away from them. But, you know, do no harm to them, and they'll do no harm to you. And if they do, well, obviously protect yourself. But you know, you're going to go through it. Because the whole reality that these dinosaur-looking reptilian beings that live in Hollow Earth and live with us has probably been here a long time. And I think through understanding, trying to understand these beings and to understand why people are being abducted, and, you know, I think that in my experience, guys, I've gotten so much more out of this, looking at it in a positive way than looking at it in a negative way.
Yeah. You also have to look at it objectively. You know, you can't take a real stance on it until you know the facts, the solid facts.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly don't think that we as a society are ever going to get those blatant facts. We can speculate, you know, a lot, and there are avenues where we do get information and stuff like that, but I don't think that they're going to let us in on what's going on. And I think they need to go ahead and do that because there's so many people that already know, you know, and instead of keeping us in the dark, they should just tell us what's going on, because there's so many of us that want to know and, you know, crave that knowledge.
Now, do you guys want to hear something scary? Because I can say something scary if you want to hear it.
Always, please do. Scare us.
All right, now here comes something that's a little frightening, and that I want to share, is that, like I said, there's positive and there's negative. And like you said, you know, the government, with full disclosure, God knows only how long it's going to take before that happens. But, you know, if you look at the fact that chemtrails are being sprayed and the GMOs and everything, and then you look at the negative hybrids, because there are negative hybrids. And I mean, some people may disagree with me on this, but there is. And what if humanity as a whole is being set up to be recycled? Dr. David Jacobs from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, he's a major hypnosis person that hypnotizes like people who have been abducted, and it all seems to be to where it's kind of like an integration thing, to where these hybrids want to integrate to live among us, and then eventually take over. And then that's a scary thing to think of, because maybe that's a natural thing that happens with species or different planets. That is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, what
who's
that
to
happen?
say it hasn't happened already, though? You know,
right?
Because,
Exactly.
At some point down the line, we were, you know, upright walking, going ugh, and then all of a sudden we're creating full words and tools, and you know, at some point it has happened before.
Right. So the dumb ape man was done off with, and here we are. But what if we're at that stage where it's time for us to be done off with, and then a new humanity?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then
it's
the
scary,
next one will come along. Yeah.
But does it make it right? I mean, I don't know. So should I just sit back and should we just sit back and accept that fact, or should we fight with love vibration? Should we go out like, okay, well, we're just going to accept this, or should we fight with love vibration? That's the question that I struggle with.
Well, I think you can find the answer in what exactly can you as an individual do to compel everything else that's out there. And I know that we can put forward as much as we can, but without the masses on that same vibrational level, it's
game over.
Yeah, it's like throwing a pea at a brick
and
wall.
It's real talk, right? It's real talk. It's game over. And a lot of people that are. I'm sorry, Wendy. Go ahead.
Oh, no, finish, please. I'm sorry. I'll go after you.
No, I just think it's game over. And if exactly like you said, if we don't rise up as masses, that makes a lot of people mad. But I, as an individual, will not quit. I won't quit to my last breath, and hopefully our soul continues, even if we are recycled. I think that's what scares me the most, is that if humanity is recycled, will our souls continue?
Or
will
our souls continue? Our souls will definitely continue. Yeah, absolutely, especially. Yeah, absolutely. It will still continue. But what I was going to ask you, since we're starting to run low on time here, I wanted to know if you could give out your web information, how people can get in contact with you.
Awesome. Yeah, it's www.princetruthchaser.com, youtube.com/princetruthchaser. I just want to say self-empowerment is key and love is vital. And no matter what the situation is around us, how scary it may look, if we try to look through eyes of anger and eyes of fear, that's what we're going to project back. We're going to project those results. So, yeah, thanks for having me on. Sorry the
you're great.
difficulties, but.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that as well, and thank you again for calling us back in and bearing with us while we got everything hooked up. Blog Talk every now and then does this kind of thing, so especially if we're talking about aliens and conspiracy, it seems to happen a bit more, I think.
Right.
But definitely, it's always a pleasure having you on and catching up with you, and keep in touch. We love having you on, and I'm sure we'll have you on another time.
Awesome.
Great.
Nice meeting you,
and
Paul.
Everyone.
Nice talking to you, bro. Definitely.
Okay, have a great night. And everyone, what we're going to be doing here in just a few minutes, we're going to be taking a break. We're going to be playing, I believe, 2 songs.